Okay, welcome to GFNY Day Southeast Asia. We're delighted to have you with us. GFNY Bali just completed 2 weeks ago, and believe it or not, it was the 100th edition of GFNY. Amazing. Even more amazing, the GFNY Southeast Asia calendar is taking off again, and so we'll be discussing that along with our distinguished panel of organizers a little later on. But first, we just want to welcome you to our GFNY Day virtual conference. We're kicking off. It's 2 p.m. in Southeast Asia. Specifically, it's Malaysia time, which we use to sort of center ourselves across the 3 or 4 time zones in Southeast Asia. A few things to note in the interface. If you're just joining us, our panelists will be on the center stage. As you can see some of our first panel right there right now. And we will also have some video right there in the middle of the screen where you see me right now. In the lower right-hand side of your screen, you can actually see that we'll be publishing some polls throughout the broadcast, as well as providing you an opportunity to ask questions in the questions button. And there's a chat button there where you can just give a shout out to anyone you see online, but let's keep it friendly and appropriate in the chat and the questions so that everybody enjoys themselves and gets the most out of it. This has been a banner year for GFNY with so many races and already finished in the finish column and so many more to go. The Southern Hemisphere has really been cleared for takeoff to carry us through fall and winter between Southeast Asia, Mexico, and South America, ready to take the reins from summer in the Northern Hemisphere as it winds down for the last 4 months of the year. So more races than ever, more places than ever, more chances to create a GFNY experience that you will never forget. So today we will tell you how to ride your first GFNY, what's on the GFNY calendar. And if you stay tuned over the next 24 hours, we'll also start to explore what's happening in Europe and the West as 2022 comes to a close and 2023 kicks off. There's a lot going on. You've gotten your ride in. Stay with us. Let's have some fun and let's celebrate. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first panel here. We've got Zulkarnain Abdul, who is a GFNY ambassador from Malaysia and also a multi-GFNY finisher. Frank Lee of Grupo Sportivo New York, GSGFNY, and also a multi-finisher. Rosangelo, who is also a GFNY ambassador from Malaysia, and Jerai Daklis, who is also a GFNY cyclist from the Philippines. So we are happy to be kicking off these 2022 panel discussions for GFNY Day here in Southeast Asia. Like I said, it's just past 2 p.m. Malaysia time. We have a panel of GFNY riders who are here to talk about their first GFNY experiences and provide some pro tips for everybody out there hoping to learn more on how to make the most out of their first GFNY experience. So with that, gang, I'm so happy to have you all here. And let's just go around and find out from each of you, what was your first GFNY experience and what were your expectations going into that first race? So I'll just start with you, Zu. And looks like you've frozen up, Zu. Can you hear us now?
Hello?
Hello. Can you hear us?
Okay, is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, okay, good. So good morning, good evening, and good GFNY day. So let me share my experience, my first GFNY. So how did I find my first GFNY? Actually, as a cyclist, it's been my dream to ride in Grand Tours countries, which is Italy, France, and Spain. So when I Google for my next cycling vacation, so that's how I found GFNY Italia. So that was in 2019. So my expectations, later I will tell you that I'm kind of just do it kind of guy. I just registered. I didn't study the course, okay? So, or later I will tell you what is the something happened, okay? But to me the expectations is definitely exceeded my expectations. Okay, GFNY Italia. So the event was very well organized. Thank you to the congratulations to the organizer over there. Okay, I would like to really thank Mirko, our coach, GFNY ambassador over there. So they had this attention to detail, from the signages, very visible in the racing, in the course. And then they have interesting water station. Okay, if you went there, okay, and when I went there, there were cakes, of course, fruits, and then they have unlimited energy gel with the brand CIS. Okay, so I asked the guy there, can I take one? You can take. He said that you can take as you wish, so very interesting. Okay, not many races that I participated. You can take, high quality energy gel. Okay, even some races, most races, they didn't provide, energy gels. So yeah, that's my experience. And then, of course, beyond be a pro for a day, I would say that GFNY, you can be a family member of GFNY, because that's how I found my friends over there. Mark from Netherlands, we still keep in touch until now. Okay, so we WhatsApp. Okay, he got twins a few years ago. And then Ethan Cruz, okay, and yeah, from US. So Ethan, then we planned for our JFMY in Bali. We had a ride in Bali in 2020. We had a motorcycle ride around Bali Island. So just to check the course. So and more, okay. Even Matthias give me a lot of tips on nutrition, even how you can, as a Malaysians, some of us, most of us are Muslims. So how you can ride, during the race when you are fasting. So even Matthias give me tips on that. Okay, so yeah, I had a wonderful experience. Okay, and of course I will tell more later. Chris will ask more questions, and I give the opportunity to the other panelists to share their experience.
Okay, super. Glad to know that I was there for your first GFNY, that race in 2019 in Italia in Montepulciano. What a great race that was. Great course. Frank, how about you? Your experience is pretty different, given that you started in the New York race and now you're in Southeast Asia on a whole other sort of adventure.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I've been very fortunate because my journey with GFNY started in its first year in New York, so 2011, and basically I've been fortunate to have raced the first nine. I missed the 10th because I was stuck here because of the pandemic in South Korea, but it was literally my closest friends in Toronto said we want to do an epic ride, an epic race, and so we were looking at the internet, and then one day my friend Jason came up and said, "Guys, I found it. We start from the George Washington Bridge in New York City." And like Zuo, I didn't research the course. I said, "That's it. We're going." And I had no idea that New York had mountains because in my mind, I grew up watching television shows based in New York City, and so I expected New York to be flat. So and Toronto's flat. Toronto doesn't have much training when it comes to climbing as well. So Zuul, I just rode with my friends, and then when we got there, we're like, where? Why are there mountains here? Because when you go get your race kit, you have the sticker, and in the sticker it showed the elevation profile. We're like, this can't be right. So, but yeah, so I very fortunate, and then as a result, my company gave me an option to either go to another office around the world, and I decided to take the New Jersey office so I could be directly involved with GFNY. And shortly after, I was invited to become a member of Grupo Sportivo. But yeah, that it started in 2011, and it's been a wild ride. And like Zul said, it's about the community of friendships. So it started off as an epic ride, but it really has become really about relationships that are international.
Awesome. Roz, how about you?
Hi everyone. Thanks, Chris. So I'm Ras Angela from Malaysia. And I myself, I actually participated my first GFNY in Malaysia. That was in 2017. And in fact, at the time, I had only started cycling for about maybe 7 months. So I was still pretty new. And I mean, my friends, like, she just got me in. She said, come, let's go race. I'm like, and are you sure I'm prepared? It's like I'm still a newbie, right? It's just like 7 months. Oh, she's like, nah, it's okay. Like it's actually more like a amateur race, and the tagline, specifically, the tagline caught my interest, which is like be a pro for a day. So I was like doing out some research, and then I understood that oh, so GFNY actually want to promote cycling by encouraging the amateurs to be more daring, to actually to test like what is your individual capability and how far and how fast you could cycle in a safe environment. And so I joined. And for the first GFNY I joined in Malaysia, it was held in Ipoh, which is a heritage city in Malaysia. The course is also rolling. And then just another 2 months after that, I also joined the GFNY Bali. And I have traveled to Bali many times, but it was also my first time like able to see Bali as a travel destination by cycling, especially to actually cycle up to like Mount Kintamani is actually not easy at all. But I am glad that I made it. So it's actually it's the route that was planned by each country, each organizer was basically like well thought of. It's not just like any race that you can find in the world. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. We've just put up a poll just about your biggest challenge with your first GFMY race. Was it believing you could finish the course, the climbs, training, travel, logistics? So, for anyone who's listening, just feel free to hit that poll and let us know what you're thinking. Gerard, how about you? What was your first experience?
Hi, I'm Gerard from the Philippines. My first experience was back 2019 here in the Philippines. What caught our attention was I ride with my wife. We're usually riding in pro races here in the Philippines, me and my wife. We started maybe 2010. And the thing with GFNY, when we were looking around, looking for a different adventure, there's a category for his and hers. It's quite unique, actually. It's a tandem race. So, what better way to test your marriage or your patience with your partner is to just join the ride and just, not just a ride, it's a race, actually. So we did. We did join the race. We prepared for 6 months. Um, our motto as a couple is if we don't win, we don't join. So we did really hard training. We hired a coach, prepared our nutrition, and fortunately, we won. We did one race, and it was very meaningful. The whole experience. We met a lot of friends, and even up to now, we're still seeing each other. We share ride stories with each other, and Philippines is made up of different islands. So there's like 7,000 plus islands here, and people are just in different doing different rides on the same day. And after every ride, after every Saturday or they post pictures with with our rides, and I think that's what Frank and Zoe meant with GFNY is that you build friendships after the event. Okay, back to you, Chris.
Well, I before your camera cut out, we were able to see that championship jersey hanging in the background. So, your credentials sort of speak for themselves in that case. So, I mean, what were the for all of you? I'll open this to whichever one of you wants to speak on this topic. But what were the biggest challenges in your preparation? I mean, it sounds like you went in cold in a lot of cases and just saying I'm gonna go out and do this thing. So how did your mindset change from the first one to the second one, and sort of you know either taking it a little bit more seriously or training a little harder, or what were the things that went into your thinking for your second race? Frank, I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, in my situation, I moved to GFNY New York to get the best training possible. Yeah, for me, it's I imagine I haven't had a chance to try the other destinations, but definitely learning about the course is key, and then um, having a strategy. And so, Gerard, having a coach is huge, and so there are partners I know within each GFNY around the world where they have training programs, the group rides. So I think for me, the biggest learning from year 1 to year 2 was to have a strategy, whether in my training, on race day, learning quickly about the negative split is very important. Now, for the entire race, how you think about employing the negative split strategy, and then for each difficult portion of the course, having a negative split strategy for that, whether it's a climb, or if it's a flat TT section, really breaking down the course so that you have a phenomenal experience. So that was the biggest take for me, and to put training into my top priority.
As your top priority, it's a whole new approach, and you also mentioned strategy. Zoo, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because your first race was GFNY Italia in 2019, and having known what worried me about that course, I walked around Montepulciano for a week worrying about 2 climbs, whether I could get up them or not. And finally, on the group ride, I got up that last climb, and I realized that I could actually do it. So I was less worried on race day. But what was your mental state as you did some of those group rides and started to understand what you were in for that Sunday?
Yeah, Chris, you are right. The mountains, the hills in Italy is like walls. If you see the climb ahead of you, it's like, oh, is it a wall or is it a, a hill? So yeah, so that's what Chris meant. So yeah, about just now I mentioned about I didn't study the course. So in Italy, the course they have Strade Bianchi, which is gravel roads. Okay, they have 3 segments, 7.5 km, 10, and then 7.5 km. In total, maybe 25 kilos. So riding on Strade Bianchi, definitely you will feel different because it will be very slippery. And then when you ride on gravel road, you feel like floating. So you have to keep pedaling. So luckily, even though I make mistake, I also make the right decision when I registered for 2 days training. Okay, so that's how I met Mirko, our coach over there. Yeah, so it's like simulation and preview of what Strade Bianchi is all about. So yeah, I'm glad I did that. So you can even go for VIP package. You can go for even 1 week if you want to be on podium, like Gerald just now. So, so yeah, yeah, everything is well prepared. You can really feel, being a pro. So, yeah. Okay. What are the things I want to say about the challenges now? Besides the course, of course, is to travel with your bike. So I'm glad I made the decision to travel with my bike because I made mistake. Once when I raced in Germany, I rented my bike. So the bike didn't fit me, and the chain set only one bike, which is I can't really speed and overtake other cyclists. So since then, I always travel with my bike. So later maybe I will share with all of you how I travel with my bike. In Italy, not only I race and go back, so I did travel around Italy and how I bring along my bike. Okay, that's something I think could be useful. Okay.
We just introduced that into the poll. Do you travel with your bike? Always, not yet, but I would like to have my own bike with me. And never, I always rent. I'm guessing that throughout the next 24 hours, never, I always rent will be the probably the lowest tallied answer, as there's a lot of emphasis on how to pack your bike. I mean, Roz, what was your experience in traveling with your bike for the first time? How did that work out for you?
Okay, for me, probably because like before I started pickup cycling, and I'm already a backpacker, so I love to travel around. And therefore, when I first started cycling for about 2 months, and I already start travel with my bike a lot, like a lot as in like every month. So back then it was like end of 2016, and I remember that I actually posted on Facebook asking people for their advice. So how can I actually pack my bike and go? And there were a lot of opinions, and evidently back then in Malaysia, not many people had traveled with bike. So I kind of have to like figure out myself. But fortunately, at the time, there was a cyclist. He actually borrowed me his bike case, so that actually eased out a lot of process and hassle. But at the time, I still need to like remove my handlebar, my rear derailleur, the seat post, the wheel set, and I'm like, okay, I should pick up all this technical and I have to put it back myself. So I did travel with my bike to Thailand. That was my first experience. But then when I arrived there, I managed to put everything together after 5 long hours. I don't know what I was doing. And I realized that I didn't bring a bike pump. So it was nightmare. It's like I had already deflated both my wheels, and the nearest bike shop was probably about 5 kilometers away. So I can't actually really push the bike to the bike shop. So, but also another fortunate event was the hotel owner actually helped me with his pickup truck and dropped me off to the bike shop. So I just pump it up, and straight away I start exploring around the city for the whole entire week. And I really love it. And impromptu, I also had one of my friends from Malaysia flew in, and both of us we just did something like impromptu. We get a bike pack, a saddle bag, get like 2 sets of clothes, and we start cycle from Chiang Mai to Chiang Rai, and that was like 190 kilometer one way. So and we loved, and then for the first day itself, I also had like a minor hiccup, which is my chain dropped and I didn't know how to fix it, and that was already in the dark, and there was a truck actually drove by and he stopped and helped us out. So, like accumulated with all these fortunate events, all these unique experiences that I had been traveling with my bike to different countries, different places, whether with friends or alone. Like recently, I actually did my long bike tour from Chiang Mai to Bangkok, and I also did like bike tour in Sulawesi, in Indonesia, and so on. So it's nowhere close to like any kind of traveling. It's not like just backpack and go. And bicycle, like cycling travel is very unique because it's like you don't just carry your own weight, you also carry your bike weight. And bicycle can basically also carry you at most ideal pace that allows you to see your environment, to see things, to actually talk to people. And yeah, so that was why I have always been travel with my bike since the very beginning until now. Back to
Okay,
you, Chris.
Gerard, how about you? Do you guys always pack your own bikes with you, or do you rent, or what's your
Yes, we
process?
do. Yeah, the best thing is your, nothing beats bringing your own gear wherever you go. Like what Ras is saying, you see the view are different actually when you're on a bike. So, a few pointers when traveling with a bike is one, I don't know with some airline, but in my case, you declare the bike as an extra weight. So there's an option where you buy your tickets and then you put in a sports equipment. So in my case, it's cheaper to get extra weight than declaring it as a sports equipment. That's one pro tip. It works every time, saves you a few bucks. Also, there's some airlines that are too fuzzy about batteries of the Di2, of the electronic shifters. So if you're using SRAM, it's easier. Just pop the battery out and bring it with you. If you're using Shimano or Campi, you have to take out the battery underneath the seat tube or wherever it is, and then you have to bring it with you. So yeah, in my case, it saves. I did, I did try to work around that gray area, but then when you get caught, it's gonna cost you time and trouble. So yeah, and also lastly, invest on a good torque wrench. It saves you time. There's a bunch of torque wrenches now that are really portable, the small ones, and then there's like the basic 468 metric, yeah, something like that. So it's preset, it's ready to go. Just pop it in and torque everything up right, and then that's it. Makes traveling easy. That's it. Back to you,
All right.
Chris.
I love those types of tips, and I think that probably I know for the amount of traveling that I've done for GFNY, I've developed just a standard packing list of everything that I bring. A derailleur hanger. I actually have for my Campagnolo group set. I have spare spokes. I have a spare chain. I have all the things that I'm pretty sure that I won't be able to get on the road depending on where I am. And so making those plans ahead of time are really, really wise. So what are some of those things? What are some of those just in America here we would call them hacks. So what are the hacks that you have for travel? And it may not just be related to the bike. It may just be other things that you bring. Great example is the first time I travel, I learned that I should never travel without the bike pump. That was one that Roz, you and I have in common. But one of the other things that I never travel without is a power strip. So no matter what type of outlet I'm plugging into or what the power scenario is, I always have a power strip so that once I convert once, I can plug whatever it is that I have with me in it, at the same time. So let's do a round and figure out what are your travel hacks? What are the things that you do when you travel with your bike?
I'll jump in because this is I travel a lot for work as well. And over the years, I've come with a system as well. And I think the biggest thing is a multiple set of containers or cases, right? So this is this is all related to charging anything that's electronic, bike related. And my daughter, she makes little stickers so I could see the difference. And you open it up and you have all your stuff in there. It's great. So it makes it easy to find things and know if you didn't pack it. And then, of course, your clothes, you want packing cubes. So that way you know. And what I do is, of course, all my race day equipment and gear, I carry on. I carry that on. So if worst comes to worst, if my checked luggage or even my bike is delayed, if it's somewhere in transit, I might be able to rent a bike. But I want my helmet, I want my shoes, I want my power pedals, I want everything that I can't, or I don't want to spend a lot of money replacing. So I think storage, and of course these GFNY wallets are amazing. So my computer is stored here with my chest strap and everything related, all my mounts. So it's one place. I know, is this in the bag? Is this, I could check that off my checking list, right? So, and of course, like you said, I have another bag which carries all my smaller accessories like the hanger you were talking about. That's precious, absolutely precious, right? And bike pumps, I've seen people, whether floor pumps, but the travel pump is huge. This thing can go 120 PSI. Your different models, but definitely it's so light, it goes into your carry-on luggage, and now you have peace of mind. So I think the main message I want to share with you guys is make it easy. So, and this kit is never used for any riding in my home. So here in Seoul, I don't touch any of this. This stays in a box and it's only for travel. And then I never touch it. That way, if I have to go, it's really easy to do. So I think, yeah, packing cubes, little cases, just make it easier for you to organize and to find things when you're traveling.
Excellent point, especially the point about carrying on the things that that you know you're going to need for race day, right? So shoes, helmet, sunglasses, maybe the small torque set that that Gerard described, as well as your computer and everything else. The things that you know you can't afford to replace right before race day. I think I've been one for replacing things like bottle cages and whatever, and that's all pretty okay. But you know those other essentials. Any other hacks or tips from this panel?
Yeah,
Can I share on traveling? You know, traveling with your car. So, like my case, I had a Mission Impossible. Okay, traveling from Venice to Rome with your bike and bike case. So, my first tip, you know, as mentioned just now, some of the airlines they have like separate package for sports equipment, but some do not have. Like Qatar Airways in 2019, they only have like fixed luggage allowance, which is 30 kg. So what happened? My strategy is to bring my spouse. Okay, so that will give another extra 30 kg. So my bike and my case is around 20 25 kg. So the other allowance for our staff. So in Italy, especially Venice, if you travel to Venice, okay, actually you can't really rent a car and ride. It's not advisable. It's very complicated. So what happened when we landed in Venice? We at the airport you can actually keep your bike case. Okay, they have storage, okay, and it's reasonable price, okay, and after, for example, like after you travel, you had your vacation in Venice for three or 4 days, then when you are of the Venice, then you can start renting a car. So I travel from Venice, then a few cities, I stopped by few cities, I stayed, for example, like in Florence, and then go to Montepulciano. So yeah, we had a good time because somehow there was technical problem because when I went to the car company, he said that something, the car like are not available anymore. So I have to, but they suggested that I upgrade. So I upgraded, pay extra, just a little extra, and I got a Mercedes A class. So luckily, the Mercedes, you can recline the rear seat, and you can put your bike case, and you can travel, anywhere. I travel with my wife, so we can stop anywhere. You can, I plan everything with Airbnb. Only certain cities I just book for hotels, but Airbnb is really nice because you really feel like home in Italy. If you can stay in their house, it's very interesting, and even you can ask your wife to cook. That's why you have to bring your spouse, okay, Frank and Gerald, okay. So I think it's a good plan. I think I did make a good choice, good decision. So yeah, it was amazing experience. So mission possible, okay. So I travel with my bike and travel with my car, okay, with the rental car, of course, not my car.
Yeah, I
Thank
guess
you.
I don't have that kind of luxury that to have a spouse to travel with me. Therefore, for my strategy is I always pack very, very light. So the bicycle and the case, floor pump, some tools and everything that already took out about 22 kilograms. And you'll be surprised that for everything that I need, my clothes, my toiletries, chargers, and whatever else is less than 5 kilos which I can easily carry on board. So that is normally how I travel with only 2 sets of clothes, excluding the one that I already put on. So total 3 sets of clothes. And that is all I need to travel in warm city. I mean, of course, it's not a cold city. So warm city, I could actually just go on like forever. For my longest trip was about 3 weeks. Like that is all I have. Yeah.
Okay, my last tip. I've been using this. I don't know if you're familiar with this. It's a pump. It's an
We see it on
electronic.
the group rides. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had this for maybe 3 4 years. It saves all my muscles, my upper body muscles that I need for the long ride. So yeah, you can get it for around $150, I think, and it saves you all the CO2 and all the pump, the big pump and carrying. It can pump up to three road bike tires in one charge. So it's actually, yeah, the best investment for me.
Yeah,
If I
for
All right,
may,
then.
myself, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. For me, it's like I still use a CO2 canister because it's like I just need to carry two. But if I puncture more than 2 times, then that is just bad luck. Yeah,
if I may
Frank.
jump in, one thing, yeah, Chris, four CO2 cartridges are required. um, one thing I want to add is to your point, Raz. When I travel, I wear my on the bike and off the bike. What I try to do is things that are easily washable, and so merino wool does very well because it dries from the inside out. It has natural properties that deal with odor, so you don't have to thoroughly wash it all the time. And by the time you wash it, even in the hotel sink, it will be dry by the next morning in most environments, right? Depending on the humidity, of course. So for business travel, I only use merino wool socks, undergarments. My clothing that I wear onto the plane is all based on merino wool because it does such a good job in regulating heat. So it has a broad range of temperature. It can be worn in very different environments. So it's really flexible, easy to wash, and it's natural as well. I also advise people to buy a roll of Velcro because this really helps in securing items, whether they're cables or anything, just to make things tidy. So, but yeah, absolutely. If your clothes can double for evening wear, outer wear, all that stuff, it just makes it easier to pack lighter and with less and less. So, but that's a very good point that you can have all the parts. Now, one thing I want to note is that all of us, because of GFNY largely, we're making friends around the world. So what we do now amongst my friends, if we're all going, we only have one member bring the pump, right? Because if they're flying in from Toronto, flying in from Italy, whatever, it's like, okay, who's going to bring the pump? Who's bringing the torque wrench? So we have one set amongst a group of friends, and then we just run around the hotel going, hey, I need the pump. I need the pump. So that's another great aspect of this community that we're developing through the races and group rides.
I can tell you that here in the U.S., when the Florida race comes around, there are some of us that drive and some of us that fly, and those of us that drive have very full cars on the way to Florida and sometimes very full cars on the way back with extra bikes, extra pumps, extra derailleur hangers, extra chains, extra, hey Mac, can you put this in your car, please? There's an awful lot of that goes on. Sorry, I had my mute button. On. So last thing, let's just cover off on two items. You guys all went into GFNY, your first GFNY, pretty cold, except for Gerard, who just decided we're not going to do this unless we're setting ourselves up to win. So you guys went out and got a coach, and that's it. In my own experience, having a coach for what I wanted to accomplish in racing Grand Fondos was something that didn't come along until probably my third or fourth season when I finally said, yeah, I think I need some help. I'm not learning anything. Although that difference between your first GFNY and probably your second is usually pretty drastic because you you kind of figure it out. But with that said, for everything that you did for training before your first race, and for everything that you do now, let's just go around one more time. And what would you tell a first timer that hasn't done it yet? 6 months out from their first GFNY, what would you tell them about training?
So can
Frank,
I
you want to
go
start?
first?
Oh, go. Please go ahead. So,
Okay, all right. So I think we should train in terms of long distance. So because JFY, even the medium around 100 km, and then the long one could be from 110 to 140 km. So yeah, so it's been my routine that in 1 week, the minimum I will aim for around 160 km per week. So which means that 100 km during weekend and short rides during the weekday, I will achieve easily 160 km per week. But of course, if you can ride longer and further, which is even better. Okay, so in terms of the distance, and then of course elevation, because just behind my house there's a big hills. You can get 45 kilometer with 1,600 meter elevation. It's called Cameron Highland. So yeah, I can just go to my backyard and climb and train that almost like at least once a month. So because for example, like in Italy, so the distance around 101 km with 1,500 over meter elevation, 1,002. Okay, all right. So yes, but the uh, gradient is 17 to 20%. Okay, which is very challenging. Okay, another thing besides training, right? The nutrition. Okay, because for me, like Malaysian, we get especially for we get used to spicy food, our Malaysian food, and then when I went to Italy, I lost weight easily 5-6 kilos. I lost weight. I'm not
you
sure.
might be the only person that ever happened to in Italy. I think that that's probably got to be the case.
True,
Yeah,
true.
yeah. I enjoy all the pasta, spaghetti, everything. I had it, but somehow I lost weight. Okay,
I think
and
it's our
then
coconut milk and
yeah,
rice.
yeah, yeah, no coconut milk, yeah, no nasi lemak, yeah. So yeah, but you have to plan for your nutrition as well, especially even like if Westerners, people from Europe, from US, if they come into to Kuala Lumpur, maybe they have to plan your nutrition. But you are lucky, Malaysia, we are like a food paradise. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. So my first tips, you have to train for long distance, okay, Grand Fondo or Century Ride, and then you go for you plan for your nutrition, okay, uh, so that you won't have any drastic change in your diet. Okay, that's my 2 tips.
For me, I want to address. I run a cycling club here in Seoul, and when I look at riders, there's the full gamut. Ability, their experience. We have some former racers. We have some people new to the sport for fitness, for wellness, for health reasons, for social reasons. So my tip when it comes to preparing for a GFNY, especially your first GFNY, there are 2 parts. One, have a plan, and consistency. I want to make it easy because we can get really technical, and some people, absolutely. If you have a desire like Gerard and his wife, have a specific goal, have a personal PR you want to go for, absolutely. But some people, it's just this opportunity like Raz and I. It was like, be a pro for a day? Absolutely. If I could be a pro for a day, I'd love it. So, but have a plan, whether it's about getting the right miles, if it's just a number, a weekly mileage, or follow a program, get a coach, whatever that is, have a plan, and then just be consistent. And some days, just go for a leisurely ride. Just you might not want to do a training program. You may not want to do intervals. You may not want to go do hill climbs, but go join a group ride. And if you're lucky that your GFNY has the weekly group rides, absolutely participate, because you're going to not only meet great people, but you're going to learn from all the other riders who have experienced the race, the group leaders, the ride. There's likely coaches in your local area that they can introduce you to. But it's a local knowledge, knowing about the specific climbs, the straightaways, watch out for that tight turn. It's huge. And you do it week over week. So by the time it's race day, you've seen 100% of the course, right? So, but make it simple for people, because anyone can be a pro for a day with GFNY. So just have a plan, whatever that plan is, and just be consistent with it.
All right. Roz, you want to go next?
Yeah. So I do agree with Frank's points. Actually, on my note, I also put here that is like don't worry so much about the distance for the pre-training, but go on frequency, because what we want to aim is the consistency of your muscles, the feelings, your physical feelings about riding itself. So if you can ride 7 days a week, just 10 kilometers every day, and that is fine. Like just get your muscles, get used to the whole motions. And I would like to add in pointers, for example, like so cycling, how I look at it, how we actually get ourselves prepared is more of our lifestyle as well. It's not just prepare for this one race. Like GFNY have hundreds of races every year, and if you could actually participate all. And not only like GFNY, you also have rides every weekend here and there. Therefore, how to maintain a good lifestyle, for example, taking care of your diet, always stay hydrated, or get enough of rest. And personally, for me, I would also go and visit my chiro every month. It's not to say like, oh, I have pain here, therefore I visit my chiro, but just to upkeep and maintain my physique wellness, as well as like I frequently get massage just to relax the muscle. I think all these tips actually also quite sum up to like a proper lifestyle with cycling together.
All right,
Okay.
Gerard, you guys went very
Yeah.
specifically, so please tell us how you figured it out, and how did you then adapt it once you learned what your result. I mean, big result in winning that first time
Okay.
around. So
Okay. Me and my wife were into races, so the first thing we do is every off season, which is around December in my area. Off season means planning for the whole year. So what we do is we choose the races that we want to join, whether it's GFNY, ODAX, UCI, whatever, major races. So maybe two or three major races, and then we choose the minor races, minor local races in our country, or maybe in Malaysia or somewhere near. Okay, with that in mind, we set all our training program for that minor and major races. So we consider all the minor races as a very nice preparation for the major ones. So going near GFNY, which is 140 kilometers, we stay away from the bike for a month. We usually do our training on a trainer or on a smart bike. The reason for this is we try to avoid injury or any road accidents, because we bought the tickets, we were booked, we were everything, and then and a week before the race you crash. You'll never know. So we stay away. We keep our training indoor. We go to the gym. We do legs. We do upper body workouts once a week. And like Ras, we do chiropractor stretches every day, core training every day. We don't skip leg day. Um, you know what? Me and we have two kids, business run. I mean the scheduling, it gets a little weird when the event is going nearer. So what we do is we do smart training. So weeks we do maybe 100 kilometer total. So maybe 2 days, 3 days, 40, 50 kilometers. And then on a Saturday run, we do 100. Um, so we put in a little variety. We do tempo trainings. We do climbs. We do race pace. we do motor pace, we do all of those things. There's this one book I would suggest you buy, Training by. If you're familiar with that, you can search online. Yeah, it's basically all the programs where you can make adjustment per program. It's the only book that we read. We base all our training from there. Even our coach is basing his program from that book. Yeah, that's it. Just be
Cool.
safe for the race. Yeah.
We are up against time, and I just want to thank you guys for participating today and just bringing us all this great knowledge about my first GFNY. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna let you guys go. We're gonna go to a 5-minute commercial break, and then we'll be back with the organizers in Southeast Asia to talk about what the GFNY Southeast Asia calendar is shaping up for the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023. So we'll be back soon. Thank you, guys. Ciao.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, we are back, and we've got we're lucky enough to have our Southeast Asia organizers back with us. We've got Axel Moller of Indonesia. We've got Thomas Tapkin of the just ramping up GFNY Thailand in Krabi, and Saeed Faisal in Malaysia. Welcome to everybody. We're so glad you're here. So glad to see that GFNY Southeast Asia is really taking off again. As we mentioned at the top of the show, GFNY Bali 2 weeks ago was the 100th GFNY, the 100th edition of a GFNY race. So congratulations, Bali team, for making that happen. So let's talk about, maybe we can go around and talk about what makes Southeast Asia so well suited for events like GFNY. Who wants to start? Thomas?
Yeah, fine with me. Fine with me. I believe I did two races now with Grand Fondo, and I did US, of course. I wanted to see what's happening in New York, and I was surprised. Not only that it was so cold, but that it was so steep. But then I did 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. I did Bali, and Bali was just amazing. Why do I believe is Southeast Asia an ideal location for Gran Fondo for cyclists? It is, despite the fact of the weather, because the weather we have on most of the time, especially in Thailand, it's blue sky. Our rainy season is 2 hours a day in the evening, so that's just perfect. You ride in the morning. The people you are working with, the food you have, value for money. Let's call it like this: value for money. I think everything fits very well, and the destination. And we all want to go to Bali. Let's be very honest. Everybody wants to visit Bali. Bali is a drawing point. Everybody wants. And if you don't ride, even you want to go there, you want to sit at the beach and say, okay, I want to have this mystic of Bali. An ideal location to write. The organization was, and I'm not giving compliments here, Axel, but the organization was just fantastic. It felt so safe. It was amazing, and I think this is what we can do more easier here than in the rest of the world. I saw US, and I never saw so many policemen in the street. It was amazingly organized. But thanks God I'm not a bank robber, because I'm sure somebody would caught me there or catch me there. So it was so many policemen in the street blocking the roads. And here it is far more easier. We have people are interested to help us. There are groups, there are schools who cheer you up on the street, on the side of the street. So the whole atmosphere, the whole environment of how we race here, and it is grand fun to be a pro for a day. The slogan is fantastic because we have a lot of small local races as well. So for people to practice, for people to realize that there is a Grand Fondo race and it is far more better organized, far more safer organized, total different finish line atmosphere, because that's what's all about. I race minimum once a month on a local race. Do I feel safe? Not really sometimes, but on a Grand Fondo, you just feel safe. You just feel safe, and I think this makes a difference in this part of the world.
Apologies, I had my mute key down. That's an excellent summary. Syed, how would you say that compares what Thomas has just spoken about, the race in Kuala Lumpur that's coming up? How would you say that terrain, the challenge, how is all that suited for cycling? What can folks expect in Kuala Lumpur?
Hi, everybody. Okay, I think what Thomas said just now was an excellent picture of the Southeast Asia in general. So it's definitely much easier and safer to do a race here with the support from the local authorities, and also the culture here is slightly different. People are more excited when we do international races. People are very supportive, like what Thomas said about school children coming up, cheering up the crowd, etc. So in terms of Kuala Lumpur, we are working very closely with the local authorities to help us manage and make sure the race is safe for everybody, and also to make sure that it's interesting, because we're going to start the race in the city center. We're going to start the race in the city center, and then we're going to go up north, a little bit outside, into the natural surroundings of north of Kuala Lumpur. And then and when we come back, and we're going to finish right back into into the city. So that's why when we work closely with all the relevant authorities in Malaysia, and also with associations, we hope to make this event a very interesting event for all the riders, local and foreign.
Got it. And then Axel, finally over to you. So Bali, how did it all? I mean, we heard Thomas's summary as a rider, which is great, but how did it all go for the team there? Was it everything that you've made it in the past? You know, just coming back. How did it all feel?
Yeah, let me talk about at first about COVID, because we made the last event in Indonesia 2020 before we got the lockdown. Then we stopped for 2.5 years, and I got the feeling we forgot all. I don't know how to organize it, what we have to do. And it was at the beginning a black wall in front of me. Or it was fog, and I don't know what I have to do really. And I see it as a change, because the rest gave us the power to do things new, to recover, and to see the situation very different than before. Before, Bali was a famous destination. We were a very small wheel of it, and we were nothing, yeah? And now the authorities fight it for us, and I got the feeling to become part of Bali, to really, I cannot feel it. My whole body is part of Bali. The event is part of Bali, and that is a big difference than before. What you said, Thomas, police everywhere. We have had 1,600 policemen on the street, and not only on the street, you didn't see maybe 500, 600. You didn't see because they were laying in the ground to secure the whole race. And that was good. And that is this new feeling we have had in compared to other years. Yeah, if you say it was a perfect event, so I have seen so many issues, but we will do it from year to year better. And I was so happy that we could do it and that the mood was so good, yeah? The weather was perfect. It was cold. Oh, sorry, the handphone is on. The weather was perfect. Rain in the morning, and it was cloudy, so it was good. Yeah, I took until now to recover from the race, from all the things, but all is done. And I'm very, very happy to be part of GFNY South Asia in this case. When we have had 2017, 2018 events in Malaysia, we got much more participants than before. When we have the races in the Philippines, it was the same situation. Now we have always riders from the Philippines. And many of our groups told us, oh, at next we want to go to Thailand, at next we want to go to Malaysia. So it's like a magnet, yeah? It's power, and we get common power, and that makes me happy.
So that's great. I actually had it on my list to ask you what the atmosphere was in Bali getting back to racing now. So outside of the, you know, I mean, what was just, you said it was cheerful, but, you know, were people really excited to just be back to, you know, the normal activity of racing?
Yeah, I come back now to COVID. It was really depressive to see in between how empty Bali was. The people were on the street, they are begging, and it was horrible to see. But now the power comes up the power comes back to Bali, the power comes back to Southeast Asia, and that is a good motivation for all events here.
So for all events, for everybody on the panel, I'll just ask, aside from the local racers that you're getting in each of your respective regions, what's on offer for those GFNY riders that want to travel to Southeast Asia? Outside of racing, which we know that the racing is fabulous there, but outside of that, what are the things that they should be telling their families about why they want to go to these races? Tell us what's on offer for those travelers.
I think sorry. I think the beauty is to travel in these destinations. Is it Bali? Is it Thailand? Is it KL? It has to be, and we have to provide a destination race. It cannot be that we are traveling in on Saturday morning, doing the race on Sunday, and then flying home on Sunday evening. I think and that's the beauty with GFNY, where we are saying number one, you create an incredible bonding between the riders. So if you come 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days before the race, and you take a coach, you inspect the race course, you meet other riders, the wives, the kids can go to the beach. So the combination, or going shopping in KL. Let's be very. KL is an amazing city to sightseeing and to go around. But I'm talking now for Krabi for the first race, because we have 2 races next year. So for the first race, it's a destination race. You fly in, you spend either a couple of days at the beach, which one you do normally anyhow as a family. Then you race. Hopefully the couple is racing. And then if you have a couple of more days, we can bring you up to Chiang Mai, because if you like mountains, that's the area to go. It's Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai. Or you're saying, fine, let me visit Bangkok. I never visited Bangkok. And even in Bangkok, the organization we are working with is they do cycle trips through Bangkok. Bangkok you never saw before, where normally tourists are not going. It's an island in the middle of Chao Phraya River, where you ride on very small, narrow roads. You can rent bikes there as well. You do, despite shopping, despite seeing the life in the city, and the life, and I agree with Axel, the life slowly comes back. During COVID, 80% of the shops were closed. Now, I would say we have still 30% of the shops closed, but I think till February next year, all the life slowly comes back into Bangkok and in the tourist destination. The beauty of Thailand is you have it all. You have the beaches, and beautiful beaches. And if you want to have a vacation at the beach with the family, that's what you should do there. Or you're continue riding up country, or in central, looking at historical places. Is it Ayutthaya? All this is available, and on the registration platform we are putting together this is what you can book as well. So see it as a destination race, see it as a vacation race. The race should be one part of it. Meet the locals, meet the local riders, and we have, so many rides we have during the week. Only where I live here in Chonburi, Pattaya, I have only out of my own group 4 to 5 races a week, where we are going out and racing and meeting each other and meeting different people. So this makes it interesting as a destination race, and that's perfect for Grand Fondo, New York.
Awesome. How about you, Saeed, in Malaysia? Tell us about what that's like for the destination.
Okay. Actually, for Kuala Lumpur, sorry. For Kuala Lumpur, the race will be in the city, so it's slightly different compared to Bali and Krabi. But what we have done here, we are hoping that visitors who come to Kuala Lumpur can come a few days earlier and do some practicing and survey the route and enjoy a little bit of city life. Then, probably after the race, we have packages ready to post race packages for people to go maybe to Langkawi, maybe to Penang, to the beaches or maybe up to the mountains, to Genting Highland, for example, if you like a little bit of gambling. So these are the things that we plan so that people who come to the race, either with your friends or with their family, will do after the race. Because coming a few days before the race, maybe they want to be psyched up for the race. They do some training, light training, coaching, and survey the route. And then right after the race, we would like to definitely them to try to explore Malaysia in general, up the mountains to the beaches, and we have special packages ready for them. We're working with the tour agents, the airlines, to come up with all these interesting packages for riders to actually experience after the Grand Fondo race.
Okay, super. And then Axel, finally back to you. Is it similar to Thailand with Bali, with Indonesia, as far as what's on offer?
Yes, I think it's similar. Generally, there are. This year we have had at first the questionnaire about how long the participants will stay, how much money they spend, and things like this. And it was very interesting that maybe 80% of the riders came already earlier, they left later. Some came for 4 weeks to spend in Southeast Asia, maybe, or in Bali. All the riders from Jakarta took a rest here for 3, 4, 5, 6 days. So that is not only the riding is important, also the destination as a tourist destination. Another point is friendship. We know so many riders, they come to the events to meet riders from other countries and they know each other. They are coming to New York, they are going to Bali, they are going to Mexico, many of them, to Cozumel. And they like to meet each other. They are like a family. They are a family. Also, as we riders, as an organizer say, we are a family. And this aspect is very, very important for me because we are one part. We are sitting in one boat, of course, or on one bike, not so comfortable.
Okay, so as far as the race calendar then moving forward is concerned, what does everybody have cooking? What are the next big ones? So we know Kuala Lumpur, we know Krabi, we know. So what's next for everybody? Thomas, what do you have coming up?
Okay, the next one is actually Said should be the first one because Said is doing it in February, but it doesn't matter. So we are doing it 2 weeks later. Said, please reserve a room for me. I'm coming. So our race is in February 28 next year. And the first race in the year 23 is Krabi. So our packages, for example, is if you come 1, 2, 3, or 4 days earlier, you want to see Bangkok before you go down to Krabi. That's one of the packages we have. Then down to Krabi, we have a variety of different levels: 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, 6-star hotels. We were very lucky. Next to the starting point, we have approximately 450 rooms available now. So we are very lucky. After COVID, hotels renovated, upgraded, and changed the face actually of some of the hotels, which is fantastic for us. The race course itself is Ao Nang is. I don't want to call it the center of the city, but it is directly at the beach. You have a beautiful view over the beach at limestone formations in the water, in the ocean out there. And we are starting there and going then through the city, approximately, I would say, 15 to 20 kilometers through the city. Totally blocked off. It's a 4-lane street. Again, limestone formations, and this makes Krabi just beautiful. And then passing the university, and after the university, we're going, let's call it upcountry. In the beginning, it feels very flat, and I believe it will be a very fast race for the first 80 kilometer for the long ride. And then you're going through plantations. You have mango plantations, you have pine trees plantations, right, left, small little villages. and then the climb starts. So you have approximately 3 very long stretch climbs. Nothing where we could say 18% or 20%. That's Chiang Mai. But it's very long. It's like never ending. Not so bad like in Bali, because there it really never ends.
Yeah.
But we have beautiful elevations within Krabi. And then again, we are coming back to the beach side. And then we had our 145 kilometers, because that's the long race, and the short race is 85 kilometer. Not so challenging. The beauty of Krabi is limestone formations, really local, small little villages. And the surface of the road is just fantastic. During COVID, Krabi invested a lot of money into road surfaces, built new roads, extended the roads. The locals might not be very happy with it, because it changed the face of an island. But this will take another 10 years until it really has an impact. For us as a rider, it's just perfect at this present stage. I brought 2 groups down there to test and to get other opinions, and that's exactly the beauty of Krabi as well, is the quality of hotels, the standards you have down there, the beaches you have down there, the diving side. So some of our riders, I'm one of it. I'm a rider, I'm a triathlete, but at the same time I'm a diver. So when I go down there, that's a combination I do. I swim, bike, run, I bike, and I have the opportunity to dive in during the right season. So a combination which one service covers everybody. The second race is on the 29th of October, and it will be 1.5 hour out of Bangkok. It's a Khao Yai area, and there we have, call it mountains, but not so steep. So it's not 20%. It is rolling hills, very local, beautiful roads. The roads are beautiful laid out, and the plan there is approximately 160 kilometer through different areas of Khao Yai. Khao Yai is very well known for Bangkokians, so we keep it close, so it's easier, direct with the bus, direct with individual cars if somebody wants to rent a car. So
Excellent.
perfect.
Wow. That's a lot. So the takeaways on the courses on the Krabi race is the long steady climbs, and then the rolling hills outside of Bangkok in October. So we'll be back around on that. The Kuala Lumpur, what's the big challenge on that course? Is it
Okay,
is
for
it going to
Kuala
be the
Lumpur-
speed, or yeah?
Actually, for Kuala Lumpur, the first, let's say the first 40 to 45 kilometers, it'll be quite flat, because we're going through the city. We're going to clear the city at about 35 kilometers before we split between the 70 and the 140 kilometers. When you split between the 140 and 70 kilometers, the 140 kilometers will start going through towards the north of Kuala Lumpur, where you will be climbing through a bridge, which is the second tallest bridge in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia, actually. So that bridge is called the Rawang Bypass, and it's part of the King of Mountain race section of a Litua de Langkawi race. They will use that Rawang Bypass to climb, and that will be between the 55 to 60 kilometer point, uh, climbing up to about 50 meters on the bridge. So after the bridge, you will settle down for a while before you reach they call this place Uluyam Recreational Park. That's where you start climbing in. Over there, the climb will be close to 10 kilometers. Then you will descend, and then you will climb again for another kilometer, which is a bit more steep. That is basically the natural surrounding. We'll go through a lot of recreational parks, a dam area, very nice, very cooling, before you come back to the busy environment of the city, actually. So there's going to be quite a number of climbing there, very challenging, but so far it's suitable for this level of race. And I think we've worked with a few technical teams who have surveyed the place, and who are also UCI certified, and they said it's not going to be so bad actually, but it will be very challenging for races because you already passed the half point, and your energy level has probably gone down. So it's then you start climbing, not at the beginning. So I think it'll be an interesting race actually.
It feels to me like you're lulling some of the faster flat riders into a false sense of security in the beginning, and then hitting them with the climb somewhere in the middle, so that they get a little schooled along the way. So that's great. Axel, outside of Bali, what else is going on with Indonesia? What do you have planned?
Oh, Indonesia has so many beautiful destinations. I like to make on every corner an event, but it's not possible. I'm living in Lombok, yeah? It's on the other side of Bali. I can see the Gunung Agung from here, the holy mountain of Bali. And Lombok is for me one of the most beautiful cycling destinations. We are planning, we hope it will be possible next year. We are planning an event in Lombok again. It will start in Mandalika. Mandalika is famous now for the motorbike race, and Lydia knows it very good, very well. The area of South Lombok, she was shouting with us 2016 because the climbs are very, very steep there. And in this area, we want to ride again. It's an unbelievable destination, an unbelievable view over the ocean with climbs. And yeah, that is my dream to do it there. It will be a distance of 160 kilometers. We have to climb 2,500 meters, and it's my dream to do.
Wow.
I cannot say more about it at the moment, but we are working on it, and we got already positive feedback from the government. Also today on the car free day, the Wakafolda, that is the second highest police officer here in Nusa Tenggara Barat, was participating the GFNY day and sent greetings.
Excellent. So there were group rides today all over Southeast Asia, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, aside from I know that Zul had mentioned that he got rained out, but Roz, she went and rode in the rain anyway. But that brings me around to the cycling culture of Southeast Asia. Maybe you guys can just take me through a little bit what the cycling culture is like in the last few minutes that we have here, and why it's just such a. I mean, it all of the terrain, the weather, all of those things add up to ideal cycling destinations. But for the folks that actually live in the areas that we're talking about here, it just must be an ideal place to be a cyclist. And maybe share a little bit about what the culture in each region is like.
I think. Okay, Side, you start.
Okay. So actually, for us, the group ride today was actually quite good because although Zul was saying it was raining, yes, it was raining very heavily yesterday actually, but then because of the rain yesterday, today was perfect. The weather was very nice and cooling, cloudy, no sun until about 10 a.m. when the sun came out. But then before that, I was at the point where they had this group ride. We had many riders coming up, enjoying the weather actually, and it's becoming a very popular culture in Bali in particular. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's in the region that during the weekends people basically go out of the city to interesting places to ride up the mountain, to ride by the beach with friends, with families, and I think it's growing in a very interesting rate actually. So that's what happened here, and I think it's a very promising culture, promising activity. I think many people wants to get into cycling, especially like me, but it'll take more time actually. But then I think it's a very, very successful cycling activity happening all over the region, actually.
Fantastic. How about in Indonesia, Axel? What's the cycling culture there?
We have had 4 group rides, one in Makassar, another one here in Lombok, and another one in Bandung, close to Jakarta, and in Banten. And they were all successful. The riders are happy to do it and to be part of GFNY.
Excellent. And then Thomas, how about in Thailand? You just getting it going?
I think the culture, if I go back a couple of years, the culture grew dramatically. It was a boom. Everybody wanted to have a bike. Everybody wanted to be out there. Rama 9, before he passed, built around the airport 23-kilometer cycle lane, where on a weekend now you have up to 7,000 people cycling there, from children to adults. It's 4-lane cycle lanes. It's pretty amazing. It's safe. Bangkok itself, it's difficult to ride. So over the weekend, the people are coming out. Is it coming down to Chonburi? Is it going in the other direction? They leave the city to ride. Thailand was always a running culture. Everybody runs because you can do this in the center of the city. There is a park somewhere, and you do your rounds. Lumpini Park is one of the largest one in the center of Bangkok. And then it changed a couple of years ago that people said, okay, now let's leave the country. Yes, we are still running on a daily basis, but in order to ride, we can go and drive quick to the airport and use the 23-kilometer cycle lane there, which one was built a couple of years ago. So, and then it's very brand related as well. So you have very high, very expensive bikes came out a couple of years ago, and today it all leveled out. So here on a weekend, I cannot say a number, but you see a lot of people coming out and ride out of Bangkok, leave the city right here. We have so many groups when we're going out on Saturday morning or Sunday morning. It's amazing, and the beauty is you're leaving the city. You have from beaches to small hills to heavy climbs. Everything is within the area. On this side of Bangkok, that means on the eastern seaboard, or even to the other side, the south, or as well the north. If you go this direction, 1 hour out of Bangkok, and you have riders everywhere.
Excellent. So any parting knowledge that anybody wants to pass on to anybody that's going to watch this? We'll have this the replays available for everybody that's registered. We'll also have this on GFNY Daily Coffee. So any parting messages that you guys would like to pass on to anybody about coming to Southeast Asia, doing one of these races, having one of the ultimate GFNY experiences, in my estimation, in making that journey?
I listened to the panel before, and it was said we are using CO. I flew to Bali, and no, we are not allowed to take CO capsules into the aeroplane. So it's very important. Don't buy before. I lost 4. Thank you very much. It's now with the custom. Take my bag and no, out.
Yeah, and that was my fault. I let that slip by because from America, nobody travels with CO2 because
absolutely.
I've left CO2 cartridges all over the world, though. So
and we have so many shops here. You can buy it everywhere. Is it when we are flying down to Krabi? I think Krabi alone has two bike shops where everything is available. So don't take CO2 with you. We have it in the country, so don't waste. What I thought interesting was from the panel before is take your own bike, and I only can recommend this. Yes, all bikes are available. I have my own bike shop with bike rentals, but I ride in New York on a rented bike. I cannot recommend, because you never have the time to fit the bike to your body. Take your own bike, even if it is. And to Bali, I took my own bike, and I don't regret. It was a fantastic ride because it was my own bike, and my wife did the same thing. So coming to Thailand, use it as a visit, use it as a destination, use it for a couple of days. Don't come right and go home again. The Thai people are amazing. The Thai food is outstanding. Whoever never came here, use this opportunity to have fun, to ride wherever possible. Take one of the guides, take one of the destination we are recommending. Use it as a vacation place, and in between you ride.
Excellent. Axel, Syed, anything else to add?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think for me also, sorry. For me also, I think for all the riders who was coming to Kuala Lumpur for the ride in on the 12th of February 2023, which will be actually the first race of GFNY in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. So I think come to Kuala Lumpur, like what Thomas said, you can get everything here except for your bike. Bring your bike. We will work with airlines to give you a special package privilege, maybe even discounts. Uh, get all the other equipments like the CO2 here. And then if you need the bike to be fixed or done in any way, we'll have mechanics at the site, at the venue, standing by. At the same time, even before or after the race, have a feeling of what Malaysia is. Enjoy the post tours packages, see the beaches, see the mountains, even explore the city and do some shopping. Is quite interesting here actually. So I think it's Southeast Asia is very similar. What you have in Thailand, you have in Malaysia, you have in Bali, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand share a lot of things similar. Our cultures are very similar. The food are very similar. So I think whatever Thomas and Axel is trying to say is also for me. Come and enjoy all three races to everybody.
Excellent. Axel, anything else?
yeah, I think the same. At first, come with your own bike. That's most important. Not to sit on a strange one. It's not matching, and it's difficult to ride on a rental bike. And as you said before, all we are very similar here in Southeast Asia. We have, okay, some differences, but it is a fantastic area, one of the most beautiful areas in this world. We have oceans, or the ocean. We have, now, Indonesia has 17,000 islands. I don't know how many Thailand has. 1,000 maybe also, yeah? So,
Don't
and
test me. Don't
Malaysia
test me.
this island. So we are living in the paradise. We have the surrounding. We can go surfing. We can go fishing. We can go snorkeling. We can diving. We can do all the things when we come to an event in Southeast Asia. There is so much. We can climb here on the Rinjani, 4,000 meters nearly up. We can climb on the Gunung Agung in Bali. Also in Malaysia, it's possible to climb mountains. Yeah, we have all.
Yes.
It's a paradise on earth.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for spending this time with us. It was really valuable. And I look forward to getting to at least one of these in 2023 and making sure that I check Southeast Asia off my
Please,
list
be
of
welcome.
things to do because it's very high on my list of things to do. So,
Chris, my last word is
please.
for me. What Grand Fund or GFNY achieved with this one, what we are doing now is, and the panel before said it several times. What amazes me is the community. It's a community of riders getting together. It's a community of people. I felt, and all around in Bali was the majority of people were coming from Indonesia. So language-wise, I was lost. And still, in this couple of days we were there, we made friends. Pretty amazing how GFNY is creating a base, and I think that's important for any rider, whoever is listening, creating a base of friendship with people with the same interest. And where I know today, wherever I would fly today, I would look for GFNY. Is there any GFNY participant rider there? I would look for it and say, okay, can you show me around? And I think that's if we establish this over years, and now using the technology you are using today, it's just amazing, the opportunities we riders, not only the organizer, but as well we riders have the opportunity to meet same thinking people, the same direction. It's one conversation. We are talking about riding, and that's you're a professor, or you're a cook somewhere. It doesn't matter. It's not the position you have. It is the same interest, and that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I, starting with the fact that GFNY has the most international athlete base. I won't just say Peloton anymore, because there's running as well. But the most international Peloton, the most international athlete base. I think of any endurance series of this type, and that's one of the things that makes it truly unique. If I can stick pins in every area of the world map, that I now have friends, of my, based on my last 8 years of riding GFNY races, and getting to meet people all over the world. And it's changed my perspective. It's changed my perspective on how things work internationally, on how, people are, and just, I think probably been, I know, a force for change in my own personal life. Just gaining that perspective, and being able to meet people like we've met today, and have the types of discussions that we've had. You might have figured out that Frank and I go way back, for 6 or 7 years. But what other type of race series can you say that I was in the middle of Tuscany with someone from Malaysia, and we both rode the same race, and had maybe different experiences, but very same experiences with, everything that Zul said about the course was absolutely correct. The hills are all walls, and so I wholeheartedly agree with everything that you said, Thomas.
Wonderful.
Well, thanks everyone. This is a brilliant discussion. I appreciate you all jumping in with us. Yeah, go ahead, Axel, please.
I like to come back to the roots.
Yeah.
We are now, since 7 years, we have contact to Uli and Lydia. And I want to say thank you very much to them. It would be not possible to have an event series like this with the power of Uli and Lydia behind. I remember the first years. Lydia was available day and night. Maybe she never slept. It was unbelievable. She was fighting.
She still
helping.
doesn't.
Everyone.
No
You could call her at night at 24 hours around the clock. And Lydia is watching us now. I say thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much that you established this area, this series of cycling event, that you did it. I know the power behind you spent for it. I know there are many problems in between, but you solved it all, and you are so successful. And I'm very happy, and also happy to see the other riders here, or the other organizers, that we are growing together, and you are the one who brought it up. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. All right, Saeed, anything to add?
I think what Axel just said is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lydia and Uli has been very, very helpful in getting me setting up Kuala Lumpur as well. So I think whatever Axel said, it was just perfect. I'll just leave it there.
Okay. All right, then I will be taking you guys off stage. We'll be summing up, and then for anybody that's interested, we'll have Europe at in approximately 7 hours and 20 minutes coming up. So if anybody wants to join for that and find out what's going on all over GFNY Europe, feel free to join us then. But until then, thank you, gentlemen, for your time and for your great thoughts.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you in Thailand. See you in Thailand.
All right.
See you in Kuala Lumpur also.
I will be there, believe you.
Okay.
Bye, Chris.
So, bye. So, thank you to our panelists. Thank you to our panelists, and thank you to Uli and Lydia for GFNY Day 2022. We're going to wrap up Southeast Asia now. And the big takeaways from this, your first GFNY, the training is important, the nutrition is important. I think the riders that we heard from really brought us some great perspective on how to ride your first GFNY, how to train for it, how to pack for it, how to travel, some great traveling hacks about how to pack your own bike. And also the organizers from Southeast Asia were just brilliant in describing why these are great destinations that are not just cycling, but everything that you might be interested in a vacation and a destination. So thanks everybody who joined. We'll just leave you with a little video, and we'll see you in Europe in about 7 hours.
Anh liền vô